You see the truth behind the veil, and you know that they're just looking for attention. Oh, you don't let the ruthlessness prevail. Oh, it's time to light your fires for ascension. Like a phoenix, you burst in a fire, burn a thirst and desire. You transform right up in a flash. You spread your wings to rise from the ashes. Phoenix, you burst in a fire, burn a thirst and desire. You transform right up in a flash. You spread your wings to rise from the ashes. Fire burn, a thirst and desire. You transform it up in a flash. You spread your wings to rise from the ashes. You burst in a fire burn, a thirst and desire. You transform it up in a flash. You spread your wings to rise from the ashes.
Guys, StreamYard is acting nuts. It didn't send any notifications out, and I went live, and it said I wasn't live a minute ago, but then, like, Damien and Jenny and Angela came in, and then it told me that I needed to start my live, which I had already started my live. It's acting so weird, so no notifications went out or anything. It wasn't even showing me live. I got a notification once you started. I started twice. That's the thing, and it's like, okay, now it's look on my end. It's not showing live at all. That is crazy. It's just not it's not showing me live. Let me try this. Mm-mm. It's so weird. Okay. All right, we'll give it a whirl. We'll give it a whirl. People come in, they come in. If they don't, they don't. It's okay. All right. How's everyone doing? Hope you are well. Thank you so much. Sorry for the hiccup there. We got a lot to talk about. A lot to talk about. This is a new case we are covering. and it is bizarre and very tragic. Very, very tragic. And it has a lot of different elements: deceit, lies, in my opinion, and a lot of different stuff. So, for those of you that don't know anything about this case, I'm going to take you to the beginning. This evening, by the way, we're going to have a Sebastian Rogers special where when I went to North Carolina yesterday. Oh, thank you, Jam. Thank you so much. Hey, Nicolina, how are you, my babies? He is a psychopath groomer. Yes, because she was like, what, 15 or something like that whenever. It's crazy. Yeah, I'm live on 2 channels, but my notifications, it's weird. It said I was scheduled and I was actually live and it says scheduled in the top, but a few people came in and then it like ended my live on its own and it said start your live, it's showtime, and I was started it again and I don't know, something's wrong. It's worse than you can imagine. Yes, it is. So who we're seeing here is the beautiful Mica Miller. Date of birth is March 7th, 1994, and she died April 27th, 2024, only 30 years young. Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Her cause of death is undetermined. Her husband, John Paul Miller, a preacher, says this was a self inflicted GUN and that she unalived herself. However, 48 hours before she passed, she gave Pastor John Paul Miller divorce papers. And then 48 hours after that, she is dead. Now, would you give someone divorce papers and then go do this to yourself 48 hours later? I don't think so. She obviously was trying to get away from him, and that wasn't working. No, you're not going to do that. You're not going to do that. This is her obituary. With heavy hearts, we announce the death of Mica Miller of Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Born in Wichita, Kansas, who passed away April 27, 2024, at the age of 30. Family and friends are welcome to leave their condolences on this memorial page and share with the family. She is survived by her parents, Michael Francis, Angelita Ramirez, her stepchildren, Logan, Zachary, Eli, Amber, and Selah, and her siblings, Nate, Francis, Victoria, Anna Francis, Sierra Brown, Matt, Abby Francis, Destiny, Nicholas. A celebration of life was held Sunday, May 5th, which was yesterday, 2024, at 3 p.m. at Market Common, 803 Howard Avenue, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Um, as you can see, just a bright beautiful, bright lady. And this was a picture of her where she got baptized um, from a new church that she was going to just this past March. She had claimed that she is a victim of DV, And she was vocal about this. She was supportive with other victims of DV. But before that, she helped her husband, John Paul, out, who runs a big, rather large congregation. And we're going to talk about him because he is a character. And let me tell you something, guys. She has documented everything. And she told her loved ones that if I ever die, and that they're check it out, because he'll make it look like a SUA, you know what I'm talking about, self-inflicted unaliving, right? So Robbie Starbuck on X writes, we need to talk about Micah Miller. She was married to South Carolina pastor John Paul Miller, but filed for divorce before being found dead from gunshot at the state park. John Paul gave an entire sermon. I think this is the one of the reasons this story got so big is because this man gave an entire sermon, joked, laughed, and acted like nothing was going on. But at the end of the sermon, at the end of church, he says, I want everybody to stand up. I need to tell you something. When you, after, yes, hours after her, I mean, literally, Nicolina, her body hadn't even fully cooled off at this point. And he's on the pulpit, laughing, joking, and getting ready to say, I don't want anybody to talk about this. Make sure you come back to church. I'm going to take time off. I'm going to need help. Give me, your funds, your money, your support. I'll see you when I see you. And we're going to look at just that. One second. There's a lot to this. Hold on, let me show you this before I show you that. Let me show you this before I show you that. Guys, do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button. I would greatly, greatly appreciate it.
Last year, my wife, they went to Africa, had a wonderful trip, amazing trip, and she came back with the idea to start a school in Africa. And 6 weeks ago, she goes in the hospital, gets out, and just leaves, just completely leaves me, leaves everything, drains the bank account, and goes. Guess what? While you're talking bad about me out there, I'm building a school in Africa for over 100 kids to be able to be fed. I'm just doing that. It's always about what I'm preaching about. God is so good to do that every single time. One day I'm going to preach about getting rich, strong, healthy, and finding a hot wife that loves Jesus. That's what I'm going to do. Weird. There's a really weird idea that a lot of women have. It's so weird that women have this. Christian women think, well, I need somebody to talk to about these people that hurt me. I need somebody to talk to. Oh, you just want to talk about somebody else. That's a demon, actually, right there. When my wife went in the hospital, I looked at her phone and I counted over the past 2 years 18 people who would text her and said, if you ever want to talk about your husband, you can talk to me and say anything and I'll keep it confidential. If you could go back in time, you would have said this. Or if I see them again, I'm going to say that. And it starts festering. It gets bigger and bigger. By the time you're done, you want to shoot them with a bazooka, right? And all they said was, "Are those? Did you intentionally wear those shoes with that dress? Oh, get rid of!"
Clearly, this man is in my opinion, is
Instead,
absolutely absurd.
we're
This
not here to talk
was
the call
his
today. Instead,
sermon, and the volume's slightly low, so you might need. It's not as loud as the other one, but listen to this.
Instead, I'm going to have you stand up and I'm going to make an announcement. And after the announcement, I'm going to ask that you leave church quietly and don't talk about the announcement here in the building, please, if you can. So y'all can stand to your feet. Um, Before I make the announcement, I also want to say that my request to you is that you will continue to come to church and serve and give for the next little bit. 'Cause I don't want to have. I'm taking a little bit of a break, and I don't want to have to worry about the church. My break may be a few days, a few weeks. I don't know. I got a call
You
late
don't want
last
to have to
night.
worry
My
about
wife
that.
has passed away, and yeah, it was self-induced, and it was up in North Carolina, and we're gonna have a funeral for her next Sunday here at 3 p.m. And so it's all
Um,
yeah. I'm just kind of going on adrenaline right now.
how would he know it was self-induced at this point? He got a call last night that his wife is dead. They're going through a divorce. They're still married though. It's his wife. Mica is still his wife. He said, "Yep." Hand on his heart, standing in front of the church. Self-induced. Police aren't going to tell you that. Police are not going to tell you that. How do you know it's self-induced? Up in North Carolina.
So y'all pray for me and my kids and everybody. And she wasn't. Y'all knew that she wasn't well mentally, and that she needed her medicine that was hard to get to her. And so I'm sure there'll be more details to come. But just keep our family in your prayers. And I'm going to let Pastor Randall, Bishop, he can pray. I'll get him a microphone. He'll pray out. And if you have anything you want to share as well, I appreciate it.
Come on, let's pray.
So
We're not here to
within 72 hours, this man is out with another woman. Out with another woman. Now she says she is just a friend and she is just there to support Mr. John Paul Miller, pastor, as he grieves the loss of his wife, Mica Miller. The timing of him saying, "You got that call you hoped for," i.e., cancer gone, then he leads into he got a call about her passing. He was waiting on that phone call. I agree. This stinks to high heaven and evil infested paradise. He was having an affair, and the woman he had the affair with, yes, we're going to talk about that. But since you brought it up, we're going to go ahead and say it. So, this woman that he was with, her husband died 3 years ago. And he was a paraplegic. He had an accident when he was in high school. There was a car accident, leaving him a paraplegic. He died because his wheelchair went into the pool or the lake. I can't remember if it was a pool or a lake, and no one was home 3 years ago. Boy, that's interesting. There's a lot of ways we can die. There's a lot of ways. But an accident, a freak accident, is Probably not a likely one. Yes, and he started, in my opinion, grooming her, Mica, when she was just what, around allegedly 15 years old. Yes, okay, that doesn't happen unless you push in a wheelchair. Something smells really bad here. Smells to high hell. His first sermon, he only knew one Bible verse. I say, cannon in sheep's clothing for easy money. And yeah, yeah. And there is so many guys. Listen, there is so many pastors that, in my opinion, are just up there to make you feel. It's almost like, a law of attraction, a lot of these churches, and they're up there to make you feel just good, and they're going to tell you that you need to give them lots of money. Lots of money. How old was he when Micah was 15? What's the age difference? He was older. I know that. I can't remember, but he's definitely older. Now, oh, I want to show you this. JLR, he is down that way right now. He was I'm going to be down that way pretty soon, hopefully. Um yes, he was 30. He was 30. Yeah, there's like a 14-year difference. Look what
Hey, how are you? A lot of people, hey, sir. A lot of people want to know if you murdered your wife.
let's look at that again.
Hey, how are you?
Right there, he's telling JLR to cut it off. Cut it off. This guy is something is wrong with this mother chicken. It is as clear as day. Watch him.
Dude,
JLR's just like, hey, we just want to know if you murdered your wife. Like, tell us. You're hanging out with. You don't just, you know, your wife just dies like this. I mean, it's crazy. Now, so something. There we go. Okay. All right. We watched a man groom a youth member for years. We watched him take absolutely everything from her. We watched him destroy her mentally. We watched him destroy his own family during the process. Now, whenever whenever she was young, he had 5 kids at the time. He was a 30-year-old man, and she goes into being, swept through being all of that. Now, this man is 30 at the time. and is grooming this 15-year-old, which is about the ages of his children at the time. Like something is wrong. Why didn't they speak up back then? Isn't it just strange, Nicolina, how people will say, oh, well, this is terrible. This is terrible now. But they knew a hell of a lot then, too, didn't they? They never speak up then. We watched him play God over a congregation for a decade. He is a true wolf in sheep's clothing. He has stayed untouchable. He has put himself at the top of everything. He has gotten away with all of his wrongdoings. I am so sorry, Micah Miller. You deserve better. You deserve our help and our love. I will carry this guilt forever, knowing I should have done so much more. I can't change the past, but I will not stay quiet any longer. To all of the old SRM members, I hope you feel the same. Enough is enough. We have to bring this man down from the pulpit. Now, Micah's family writes, my daughter Mica was found Saturday in Lumberton, North Carolina, with a fatal gunshot wound and no contact order, and divorce was filed 2 days, 48 hours before this tragedy. We are devastated. Prayers appreciated. Sarah, another of one of my daughters, has set up a simple fundraising link. Law fees are an obstacle with us. We are an Air Force family with very limited funds. She was the pastor's wife at Solid Rock Church in Myrtle Beach. Please pray, people, for truth and justice prevails. He was the church on and out. He created the church on and out of adultery and still continued to do so. JP and the church kept trying to create division between me and my husband while we were there. I was told I couldn't serve because I wasn't good enough. I had issues with my heart. I had issues and that my heart wasn't in the kingdom. Meanwhile, the pastor is cheating on his wife, but I'm the one with the issues. We had seen him belittle his wife in front of us at dinner many times. He was intimidated by strong, outspoken women and wanted to shut them down at any chance he got. Who does that sound like? He got mad at my husband for choosing me over the church. What pastor does that? What pastor buys part ownership of a bar? It is time for his abuse to stop. It is time for people to stop covering up and covering for this man. Too many lives have been hurt because of this man, and now a life has been lost because of this man. Stand up and speak out. There is Jim Jones vibes. Well, he doesn't have, yeah. You notice one thing about these men, they don't like strong women. They're intimidated by strong women. She couldn't be, yeah, yeah. He bought partial ownership of a bar, and it is absolute brainwashing. Once upon a time, a pastor set his sights on a family at one of the hardest moments in their lives. His aim wasn't to help us, it was to take advantage and to use our vulnerability. I am so thankful for my husband's discernment because our time at the church was short. Some of the other family members were not as lucky, and it took time for them to escape claws. I watched so much drama unfold involving this pastor while the church sat quietly trying to make sense of his manipulation. One of the most troubling things I watch is how he took everything from one young girl who eventually became his wife. I wholeheartedly believe that none of this would have happened if it wasn't for this supposed man of God. We watched a grown man groom a youth member for years. Oh, I already read that one. Sorry. What kind of pastor still goes to the church service mourning his wife? The morning his wife dies. End quote. Goes through the whole service with no remorse, no emotion, even cracks jokes, acting like nothing is wrong, only to mention her in the last 15 seconds of the service and airs out information that the congregation should not have been told publicly like that, meaning that she had struggled mentally for so many years, he says, and that it was self inflicted. Unsettling and gross, isn't it? Just to fit the narrative, making sure his ego and pride are still intact. All done for image. His sermon from Sunday is still up on YouTube or the church page. Meanwhile, church staff will cover it up and act like nothing is wrong. People wonder why more and more do not want anything to do with the church. This is why. And she is absolutely right. The amount of covered up abuse is astounding. Stop covering and hold them accountable. WMBF News. I'll keep tagging until someone picks this up. It is no longer a church, it's a cult, which that's debatable what a real cult is, but she's emotional. Uh, uh, keep coming forward and sharing your stories and speak up. See your comments here. Even if it was true, that is a disgusting thing to share for a loved one. Well, it's disgusting that you wait till the very end of a church service. I would be terrified to go into the pulpit claiming to be pure and holy preacher. Exactly, Nicole. You know, this is, everyone has problems. Every marriage has problems at times. We all have problems. Um, but there are some of these people that you know, they have a staff that covers up things for them constantly, and they're constantly making excuses while they're trying to project a perfect image. And it's not a perfect image. And yet, someone who is quite flawed and maybe want to go to church, they won't go to church because of all the judgment they will get from pastors like this guy who would have probably judged the hell out of him, just like other people has said he has done. Memorial service for Mica. Um, these are the two. And she deserved so much better. So, this was yesterday. I think it was yesterday. No, maybe it was, I think it was yesterday. Uh, many people came out to break the silence in domestic violence. So, has this been shared yet? Jacques Strap's first wife, Allie Williams, uh, nothing ages her. All my anger is toward JP Douche Canoe Miller. This resemblance between her and Mica is uncanny. Looky here. Yes, this is an obituary. Sorry, no, this is not an obituary. Sorry, this is the marriage announcement. But look at how his first wife and his second wife, Mica, looks so much alike. Come here, heretic, but I believe every religion brainwashes. He took it to a whole new level, the poor woman. I understand chaos, you know. I get it. Trust me, I understand. Thank you so much for your support. I appreciate you, my dear. How young was his first wife? I don't think there was much of an age difference between those two. So there is a lot to talk about here. All right. In an interview, well, which one should I do first? Let's do this one first, okay? Let me get a drink. 1 second. I don't go to church anymore due to stuff like this. I have my own relationship with God. Absolutely. You don't need a church. You don't need a church to have a relationship with God. Yes, and she managed to escape, but wouldn't let her. I wonder if because I wonder if there was a life insurance policy. You give her papers, in 48 hours she's dead. Mm, something's a little fishy there, don't you think? I don't think these evil people hide behind religion and actually don't have a relationship with Jesus truly in their heart. They are empty. Oh, absolutely. I mean, you know, if you are a Christian and you believe in the Bible, it talks about, these serpents will walk with the holy and use God's name, but will be quite the opposite. Yes, a bunch of egos in churches. Hey, Tar Heel. All right. So check this out, guys. Check this out. In an interview with the Christian Post on Friday, Pastor Miller admitted that his relationship with Mica began with adultery. He said they both were previously married and he cheated on their spouses. And many people left his church, forcing them to start over. He said he and Mica got married in 2017, shortly after she underwent surgery for an undisclosed and was diagnosed with bipolar 2, schizophrenia, and dependent personality disorder. Since 2017, says Pastor Miller, that they have been trying to manage his wife's mental illness with lithium and significant support. As long as she took her medication, Pastor Miller said his wife would be fine. Micah, however, had a roller coaster relationship with medication. He called how she would complain, how the medicine would make her gain weight and cause her to slur. And earlier this year, the wife of a well meaning pastor friend had no understanding. Hold on. Sorry. He recalled how she would, understanding of mental illness, offered to pray and believe that Micah's mental illness would go away. That incident, he said, stuck with Micah, and she started to believe that she no longer needed the medication. Remember, this is him saying that. Quote, I took care of her through every time she went to the mental institute. I took care of her every time she stopped taking her lithium. I would never expose this stuff of her if I didn't have to now. But every time she tried to unalive herself, I would be there. I would literally sometimes pick her up, physically put her in the truck, take her to the hospital, end quote, Miller said with a slight crack in his voice. The pastor said he took his wife to probate court a few weeks ago to get her hospitalized, but the court stated that she wasn't a danger to others and she could not be forced. Quote, nobody believed me when I told them that she was having a psychotic break. She would have she would have never left. She would have never done what she did. They wouldn't believe me. I have 48 text messages that I sent out saying she needs her lithium. Somebody help me, please. And no one believed me, end quote, the grieving pastor said. Everybody thought I was a demon for trying to take her to probate court and to get her put in the hospital. I told her family, I have text messages over and over. I told her family she needs her medicine. They told me I'm crazy. She doesn't need any medication. I text message her, but they sent her saying it makes you fat, it makes you slur, or you shouldn't take your medicines, or you just need something like prayer. Um, she thought that I was the enemy somehow. Nobody believed me. Everyone thought that she was just normal being herself and nobody understood. With her mental illness, people understand that she can say a sentence that's normal and the very next uh, be talking out of her mind. TJ, thank you so much. Going to church makes you no more of a Christian than standing in the garage makes you a car. Amen. Brother, hallelujah. Hallelujah. Thank you, Lord. Hallelujah. Thank you, my love, for 1 month. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you, my dear. Thank you for your support. Um, Preach, brothers and sisters. That is what we call a southern preacher. Hallelujah. I I have 4 pastors in my family. I grew up in church, like church. You're going back in the bushes chaos. That's funny. Um, all right. Let's look at this, and then I'm going to show you some documents. up in this piece.
Carolina pastor's wife after her body was found in a state park about a week ago. Pastor John Paul Miller told his congregation that his wife, 30-year-old Mica, took her own life after struggling with mental illness. But her friends and family say otherwise and want police to, quote, deeply investigate what happened. More than 100 people rallying outside
I haven't heard that, Nicolina,
John Paul's church
but
in
I'll
Myrtle
check.
Beach, demanding justice for Mica. This happened on Sunday. Our very own Kelsey Kernstein has been digging into the story. Kelsey, some pretty startling court documents revealing what may have happened just before Mica died.
Yeah, hey there, Hannah. They really are startling. So, according to reports,
Erica.
just days before she died, she filed multiple times for illegal separation from her husband. We're also learning that she even filed for divorce back in October. Then Mica posted on Facebook about abuse
Yeah,
just
I've heard of
weeks
Anna.
ago. The video offers advice for people who may be in an abusive relationship, and some believe that this video is proof that Mica was in one herself.
God
We're going to look at some of her videos here in just a second.
hates divorce, but why? According to everybody I've asked and the scriptures that I've found, it's because it hurts people. But does abuse hurt people? How do you think God feels about that?
So, according to the police report, 30-year-old Mica Miller died on April 27th. We know that her body was found in Lumber River State Park in North Carolina. That is just about an hour away from where the Millers live in Myrtle Beach. Just days after she died, her husband, Pastor John Paul Miller, told his parishioners that she had taken her own life and blamed it on her years of mental health struggles. However, police say they are still investigating how Mica died.
I got a call late last night. My wife has passed away. And yeah, it was self-induced.
Yeah.
It was up in North Carolina. Y'all pray for me and my kids and everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, I got a call late last night. My wife died. Yeah, it was self-induced. Yeah. You are full of shit, Pastor. Yeah. Beautiful wife.
And she wasn't. Y'all knew that she wasn't well mentally, and that she needed her medicine. That was
Talking down about her. Talking down. He is building it right there. Right there, he is building it. Yes, she did it herself. It was self-induced. She's been struggling, right? And she was up in North Carolina, far away from me. Far away from me. If one sheriff's department from here area is investigating up in North Carolina, wouldn't the law enforcement be the one investigating? Correct. Pink Warrior, thank you so much, my sweetsies, for your support. I really do appreciate you. Thank you, my love. Thank you. Thank you, sweetsies. Thank you for your support.
hard to get to her.
I'm going to show you some videos.
And this
of
is
her.
interesting, too. A Facebook
Mica.
group called Justice for Mica pointed out a statement from her obituary that they believe was odd. It reads, she would praise her husband after every church service, telling him he was the best preacher in the world, in parentheses, even if it wasn't true. She also told him he was the funniest preacher in the world, in parentheses, even if that wasn't true either. We also know on Sunday, dozens of people came together in Myrtle Beach, and they gathered outside the church to rally for Mica and send a message to her husband. Take a listen.
I came out today to support her family, to support her story, because her story is important and it needs to be heard.
I remember one time passing by just saying hi, and it was like the biggest smile on her face, saying hi back.
Mica's sister also telling her friends on social media not to listen to false stories being shared about Mica. And a friend of Mica is also saying that she spoke to Mica multiple times a week before she died, and that her final text to her on Friday night was not a woman about to die, but a woman making plans to live. We have also reached out to John Paul Miller's church for comment, and we were told that now is not a good time to interview him. Hannah?
Kelsey Kernstein, so many unanswered questions.
Really?
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Barely 30. Barely 30. I want to show you. By the way, there's a Facebook group called Mica Miller Discussion. What really happened? I would suggest, if you're following this case, to head over there and look at a lot. This was her baptism. March 31st. Reminder, next time I get baptized, I want to be baptized in the ocean. Never thought of that. Salt water, fresh water. Salt water, fresh water. Salt water. She was very proud of that moment. This was just March 31st. A little over a month ago.
I just wanted to say that I am so happy to be born into this country where we have job opportunities that are better than what I've witnessed in other countries. I remember driving past a man sitting on a giant rock, and he had like a chisel and a hammer. And I asked the people that we were with, what is that man doing? And they said that is his job. He finds a big boulder in the wild, and he beats it into littler rocks, and then beats those rocks into littler rocks. And then he bags up all the rocks and he puts them in a wheelbarrow and he takes them into town and he tries to sell them for landscape, for construction, whatever. So if you have a job that is better than that, be so thankful today.
Beautiful. Look at that smile. Look at that beautiful smile. Gone forever. Gone forever. She just started a new church, and she loved this church for sure. She kept her Facebook public because she wanted people to see this.
So today my heart's a little heavy. I've had a lot of women that have reached out to me about situations of abuse. And I just want to tell you what a lot of people have told me lately and reminded me, because I think I forgot. I knew, but I pushed it in the back of my head just because of my situation. But you are the bride of Christ. Before anybody else's bride, male or female, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what gender you are. Abuse is abuse. And you are the bride of Christ. And my Bible says that he took all the abuse you could think of for you so that you didn't have to live that life of slavery and bondage and pain. Jesus took it all for you. So you don't have to stay in a abusive relationship, whether that's sexual, whether that's somebody forcing you to take illegal drugs or alcohol abuse, or physical.
She says when someone's trying to make you take illegal drugs.
Whether that's sexual, whether that's somebody forcing you to take illegal drugs or alcohol abuse or physical abuse, psychological abuse, making you think that this is all your fault, or you're a bad mom, or you're a bad wife, or you're a bad husband, or you're not giving it your all when you know you are. God hates divorce, but why? According to everybody I've asked and the scriptures that I've found, it's because it hurts people. But does abuse hurt people? How do you think God feels about that? So I want to remind you, like a bunch of people have been reminding me lately, that I'm God's bride first. And even an earthly spouse who's a good spouse, when they know that their bride is being hurt, just imagine what an earthly spouse does. What do you think your heavenly spouse does when you're the bride of Christ and he sees his bride going through abuse and hurt? What do you think he thinks about that? So, encouragement in all this is you are the bride of Christ first before anybody else's. And he's got you. And he sees you. And he loves you.
This was March 22nd. What, 6 weeks ago. It was getting really bad at this time.
So I just thought of something as I'm listening to a song called Trouble by Kane. And I just wanted to give you a dare today. I dare you to do something either good for yourself or someone else, because like the second greatest command, love your neighbor as yourself. And it makes the enemy so mad, because like when Job in his misery like took time to pray for his friend, or the woman gave up her last flour and oil to the prophet, or when you're going through something horrific and sad and awful, but you take the time to call and encourage your friend, or pause in your prayers, lifting up your concerns and worries and cares, and you pause to pray for your friend whose family member has cancer, or to lift up their daughter or son who's just going through a season and they need prayer. Nothing makes the enemy more mad, because that's God's heart. Opposite of selfishness. It's just love, loving God's people the way you know God loves you, and pouring it out onto someone else. And let's do something good for somebody else and make the enemy so mad today. Hope you do it. I'm going to do it.
It reminds me a lot of Maya Miliete. Yes, a lot of Maya Miliete. For those of you, we've covered Maya Miliete, and very similar feeling. Okay. March 21st.
Hey, everybody. I just wanted to share the chorus of a song that came to my head the other day. I was just kind of battling thoughts of just kind of like human thoughts, you know, things that you want to do. And it's just a fleeting thought, you know. And then this song came to my mind because it says, you know, bless those who curse you, pray for your enemies, things like that. And so I just wanted to sing this really quick and see if it encourages you. I hope it does.
Oh, wow.
But it says, I pray for your healing. The circumstances would change. I pray that the fear inside would flee. In Jesus' name. I pray that breakthrough would happen today. I pray miracles over your life. In Jesus' name. In Jesus' name. So pray for those who curse you. Bless those who curse you. Speak well of those who are not speaking well over you, because God sees all, God hears all, he knows all. And if you keep your heart right and his will be done, not yours, it's all going to work out. So I hope it encourages you today.
We're going to look at one more video, and then I'm going to show you guys something that someone just sent me.
Hey, everybody. I just want to let you know that I'm alive and well, and life's been kind of crazy the couple past weeks.
You can tell this is a hard video for her, in my opinion. Like this one right here, you can tell she's struggling. You can tell life's really, in my opinion, he's making her life hell here.
Months, years, but I've kind of had to keep my circle really small for the past couple weeks, just because
Yes, Himalaya.
I'm going through a lot and it's hard.
That is, yeah, just wanted to let you know that I'm alive.
And it's my cross to bear. It's the thing that God has put in my life to deal with, and I don't want to bring a lot of people into it. I'm so thankful to God for a strong family and the friends that God has put in my life to be there for me at this time. I just wanted to share that my heart and my prayer is that the church would stay strong, that y'all would stick together, because the church is God's people. It's not a man,
That's
it's not
great.
a person, it's not me, it's God's people, the bride of Christ. And it's a lot of really good people in the church that that I just hope would continue on, press toward the calling, run your race, stay encouraged, stay in your word, keep worshiping. Like I can't wait to worship again with everybody, but for now I'm just worshiping with me and Jesus to God. And I don't think God would be pleased with me if I just jumped right into missions and women's events and creative directing and worship leading and stuff. I think when your world is shook up, you need to take a pause. And I can only pray that more people will take a pause and I'm trying to get my priorities straight right now. And that's making sure that my heart doesn't have any unforgiveness, bitterness, resentment, just forgiveness and hope for the future and peace. Because you can't put a price on peace from God. So thank you for all your prayers and support. Know that I have to keep my circle really, really small right now. I'm used to having a really big circle, so it's hard because I want to reach out to everybody and tell you how much I love you and I miss you. But this is the best way that I know how. So I love you all. I miss you. Thank you for your love and support over the last couple years. And some of you, up to 18 years walking with me as my friends. And for right now, I've just had to put everything on pause to get myself right. And I think God's happy with that. So keep praying for me. Thank you. And I love you. I'll be praying for you. God bless you. Bye.
Someone just sent me this, and I want to share it because put it in the.
I've tried to post on here twice. I am going to say this is all allegedly what the truth is, and that a lot is getting out there allegedly. But allegedly, the Mica Miller case is shedding a
Guys, this is going to get worse before it gets
lot of
better.
truth to light on things my family's involved in, like allegedly the Solid Rock Church and allegedly Danville, Illinois, with allegedly my grandmother on my mom's side and my grandfather on my mom's side. Allegedly, allegedly is the right-hand man of first graduating class of allegedly Oral Roberts University. I don't know how many times I have to say allegedly. This is all just for entertainment purposes, and what I am saying may or may not be the truth. But my family, my grandma, my grandpa, my mom's side my grandpa's from Minneapolis, my grandma's from Danville, Illinois, where her grandfather, my great-grandfather, Guy Malone, was at Solid Rock Church. My great aunt, my grandmother's sister, allegedly, is in Cape Coral, Florida, where she allegedly is also a part of Solid Rock Church. And for a fact, I have gone to Grace Fellowship Christian School in Tulsa, Oklahoma, or Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, where there was an alleged scandal of Grace Fellowship Christian School where I lived. This is a fact, across the street, where my grandfather on my mom's side allegedly sold that land allegedly to my dad, who built a house. And my grandfather allegedly was involved with Grace Fellowship Christian School in the founding of it, allegedly. This is a lot bigger, guys, than just Mica Miller. This is across the U.S. And allegedly, my family, on my dad's side, on the Berry Hills, allegedly, where Mica Miller somehow KO'd. Sorry, let me redact that word. Sorry, I don't know what I'm talking about. Maybe none of this is real. But anyway, she was allegedly Mica Miller was, she's no longer with us as of Solid Rock. Her husband, John Paul Miller, at Solid Rock Church in Myrtle Beach, North Carolina, had apparently made a statement after a sermon that his wife had passed away, and that it was self-induced. I'm gonna allegedly hypothesize that it wasn't, because this is a lot bigger than just Mica Miller, guys. Allegedly, based on my theory, maybe allegedly based on my experiences of being the granddaughter of people who allegedly are involved in starting churches like this and are allegedly involved in creating pastors that are like this. And allegedly, we have a lot of Bible colleges here because we're the Bible Belt, allegedly, in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and Oklahoma in general, throughout West Texas, allegedly. And maybe I am really, really excited and sad at the same time. And maybe when I watched Mica Miller's TikToks and Justice for Mica, maybe I allegedly was really afraid. And my heart started racing because I am a Mica Miller. I am a granddaughter of people that are similar. We'll just say that. And I have serious concerns on what is going on here. And my own experience is this is a lot bigger, guys. This is much, much, much bigger than just Mica Miller. This is across the U.S. I will say factually that my children have been removed from my custody, and I am being called crazy, even though I have displayed facts with evidence on social media.
What did I tell you guys at the beginning of this? I said there is so many of these type of
because that is the only thing I have at this point is my voice. I'm gonna say that
she's clearly not crazy. She's clearly not crazy.
My aunt allegedly goes to Solid Rock Church with her husband, allegedly, in Cape Coral, Florida. And they may allegedly, gonna throw that word out there a million times, may allegedly have similar problems down there. And the alleged SA, look up what that means, of the boys at Grace Fellowship Christian School.
Of the boys at Grace Fellowship Christian School.
And the kids at Grace Fellowship Christian School goes far beyond schmexual caboose. Goes far beyond that. I went to school there from age 5, lived in a house directly across the street. And they covered things disappeared. things disappeared and the case disappeared. And there are a lot of families who have been trying to get their voice out there.
She knows a lot. She knows a lot.
For years now. That was in 2000, I believe, 5 and 6, around 2004, 5, 6, allegedly. I may or may not have a link in my bio that you can read about these things. And I would definitely look up Kyler, not Tyler, about what's going on. I'm excited that this is coming out. All of this is investigation, but the facts are these people get a lot of money. There was allegedly a scandal with Pearl Paubert's University, if you get what I'm saying, because I have to change my words, in 1980s, where Pearl Paubert's had said that he needed $6 million or $8 million, or else he was going to right, because he was told by the Lord that was going to happen, so he needed the money, and all of the churchgoers donated. This is called religious schmaboos. I don't know, I'm changing my words here. I want to make sure this gets out. I've tried to get this out 3 times. Let's just say on my case, my grandfather allegedly has a ton of the people on my case, involved in my case, who are affiliates, allegedly, of his, that I maybe have alleged facts on, that are alleged public knowledge on alleged public court cases, allegedly. So hopefully this video will come out. Please go watch the Mica Miller case going on. Kyler, not Tyler, is reporting on it. She also has a bigger presence on Facebook. Allegedly, my grandpa is from Minneapolis, Minnesota. Allegedly, my grandma is from Danville, Illinois. Allegedly, we moved here to Tulsa. Allegedly, they came here to Tulsa to help start Pearl Paubert's University. And allegedly, they were involved in starting Race Fellowship Christian School. So that was shut down due to Schmarin Thompson, allegedly, who dated my aunt, allegedly, for essaying boys, allegedly. There may or may not be a link in my article, but there's a reason why my kids allegedly have been taken. And then on the other side of the family, lots of money, lots of wealth, jets, cars, planes, all kinds of stuff, race cars. I allegedly have seen things firsthand, and that is allegedly why maybe my children are taken, when I was allegedly threatened, catch on what I'm saying, threatened for my wife, Smythe, and my children's wives. I'm changing words here. Allegedly, and have reports and facts and evidence and recordings of those instances. And my children were taken and given to a schmaboofis, you know what I'm saying? A DV, ex-husband.
So I just got something that said JP, the pastor, would allegedly take care of himself with a dog and a blow-up doll that looked like a young person. That's alleged.
And I have 5 witnesses. And so All I have been hearing subconsciously is shut Brittany up. Let's shut her up. So hopefully this gets posted and it doesn't get flagged.
Mica, she kept a binder of everything that happened. Everything that happened. And there may be a 911 call as well that she may have called 911. We don't know that yet. He spoke about brown chicken, brown cow in his services. Yeah. Wow. Well. No, this person knows a lot because she's going through very similar things as Mica went through. So there's that. Now there is an affidavit here. I've already got it in my system here, but I'll just pull. Thank you for sending this. Wowzers. Okay. This was dated April. I think it says April 3rd, 2024. I could be wrong. I am the petitioner in the proceedings which are pending for the probate court as an appoint of the special administrator for my sister's estate. This is Mica's sister. I am Mica's younger sister, having been raised by our parents, Michael, Francis, and Angelita Salas, with our siblings Nathaniel, Destiny, Anna, and Abby. We ultimately settled in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina in 2007 with our mom and stepdad. I was aware of Mica's former dynamics and relationship with her husband, respondent John Paul Miller, which is Mica's husband, and stepchildren Selah, Asher, Logan, Eli, Zach. Mica and I spoke every few days, texting daily, so much as to even create playlists together. Mica would drive to me and visit family in Gaffney, South Carolina, at least once a month. I know my sister and have expressed the abuse and violence against her by her husband to others, including family members and members of the church congregation. Mica told me there were people following her, keeping track of where she went through that thought that Mr. Miller hired people to follow her. Mr. Miller later confirmed this during sermon I watched. Mica confided in me that Mr. Miller was moving assets that were in his name, such as his vehicle, changing the deed in their house to the church, transferring interest in something rocks to one of his sons. In February 2024, Mr. Miller removed my sister's personal items from the home they shared while she was admitted into a mental health facility and left at an apartment of Diana Nisoe. My sister was not aware that her personal possessions had been removed from her residence until she was released from the hospital. Prior to her admissions to Wakima, Mica was gathered and sorting the evidence she had to bring to an attorney for filing for divorce to support her claims against Mr. Miller and to his abuse character, his and associates he paid off of blackmail. While at the facility, these documents, emails, files, etc., were removed from her phone, personal laptop, vehicle, and purse and never recovered. So he took away all of that as well. All of her documents, I guess, or whatever. Further, Mica was unable to access her iCloud accounts, email, or Facebook profile. Mr. Miller continued using at least one of Mica's accounts, causing any recipient to believe it was Mica's communication. This man smothered her. Like, he legitimately smothered her in any way he could. Mica talked about what she wanted her life to be like following the divorce from Mr. Miller. Having traveled for a church mission this past fall, October 15th through October 27th, 2023, Michael was intending to participate in additional missions, even to live part-time in Kenya. Mica recently shipped some of her personal items to Kenya in preparation for her stay there. Does this sound like someone who was wanting to take her own life, guys? I don't think so. My sister was hopeful for the future after filing for divorce from John Paul. My sister also expressed to me that she was fearful that she would not make it to the divorce and that her life would be taken from her. It is my belief, based upon conversations with my sister, and she told me multiple people, including other family members. Micah stated to me on many occasions, quote, "If I end up with a bullet in my head, it was not me, it was JP," end quote. Micah forwarded a family group text message notifying us that Mr. Miller was served with divorce papers April 25th, 2024. On April 27, 2024, my sister Micah A. Miller was found dead as a result of gunshot wound in Lumberton, North Carolina. I have the full support of my family in my request to be appointed as special administrator to take this request and my potential appointment in this role very seriously. Sorry, let me look at this real quick. 1, 2. Okay. I am the brother and petitioner of Sierra Francis decedent Mica A. Miller, in the proceedings of which the pending before the probate court as the appointment of Sierra Francis as special administrator of my sister Micah's estate. I am Micah's only brother, having been raised by our parents, Michael Francis and Angelina Salas, and our siblings, Destiny, Sierra, Abby, and Wichita, Kansas. My mom and my siblings, apart from my older sister Destiny, moved in Horry County in 2007. I was aware of Micah's family dynamics. Okay, we've read that part. We read that part before. I saw Micah frequently, who lived in Horry County, and spoke to her on a weekly basis. I am also a member of Solid Rock, where John Paul and Micah worked for several years until I left the congregation due to the behaviors I observed. Micah confided in me John Paul moved her belongings out of her marital residence with Diana Nosey so that he could, quote, keep an eye on her. Following this, Mica then retained an attorney for purposes of filing for divorce from her husband and joined a new church. I have received communication in the past from John Paul Miller stating that he knew no reason for divorce but wanted a separation and gave reasons why. The email I received on April 3, 2023 included a forwarded email from Mr. Miller to Mica dated April 1, 2023 to an email address that did not. Because just 2 weeks later, Mica forwarded me an email from Mr. Miller dated April 15, 2023 to her correct email address shown. Mica told me of legal documents she prepared so that I would be able to make decisions for her well being. However, these documents were not located. The only legal documents discovered appointed Mr. Miller as the power of attorney. Of course, Mica made several police reports rather, over the past few weeks of her tires being slashed and tracking devices being found on her car. In Mr. Miller's email forwarded to me, he apologized to Mica for the tires and causing damage to her vehicle. Mr. Miller's email to my sister continued to state that he was angry when Mica confided or, quote, put her family before, quote, him, that made him want to hurt her. In his words, quote, when someone hurts me, I try to hurt them back rather than forgive, end quote. And, quote, instead of me forgiving you, I just attack and try to cause pain, end quote. Mica told me on numerous occasions that she feared John Paul and that she just wanted to escape him. Our family is very supportive of one another, and especially in this time of grieving, I believe that my sister Sierra is the appropriate person to step in for Mica's shoes and continue what was started by her, both to secure her assets and to determine her position of marital estate. Wow. This guy is a real freaking winner. Is her husband in jail? No. I don't even think he's been officially named a suspect at this point. Okay, Miss Kirby, thank you. So yeah, this is a little crazy. Anita, thank you so much for the Cash App, my dear. It's very sweet of you. Aw. Look at this. Just a beautiful young lady. This is Mica, love for God and people. Mica was born in Wichita, Kansas, and her mother and father and everything. What a great picture and loving memory of Mica. March 7th, 1994, April 27th, 2024. Just turned 30. Look at her. Beautiful family. Just an absolute beautiful family. Running that marriage in church. Oh, I agree. Her husband started gallivanting around town with his new girlfriend. Yes, 3 days. They didn't have any kids together that I'm aware of. Correct me if I'm wrong, Chad. But she had 5 stepchildren. I don't know if I think she was found in the car. there's not been a lot released on the actual crime scene itself. But it's alleged that she was actually on called 911. I believe so. How many times was JP married before? Do you know? He was married one time before, I believe. Yes, he was hanging out with a woman 3 days after her death. So, yeah, JLR, he ran right up to him. I want to show y'all this group. Yeah, at the park. That I think everyone should join. It's called Mica Miller Discussion, What Really Happened. JP did an interview. Yes. Showed y'all that already. Okay. My sister, who was also in the group, posted this on a comment earlier. Thought this would be as helpful as the distance to the airport from where Mica was found. There are a couple state parks in the county. I live in Lumberton, and I think everyone is confused about the state park she was located in. The state park you guys have posted here is on West 5th Lumberton. She was right down the road from the airport. The park that was found at the was Princess Anne. So she was found at Princess Anne Park in Lumberton. Let's look that up. It is a state park, but doesn't show as when you search it. Okay, well then there we go. If you search Princess Anne, that's where she was found. It is at the end of Princess Anne Road. As you can see, it's a little further from the airport. I just wanted everyone to be made aware to the correct information as to where exactly the state park is located, and she found it. I pray Mica gets the justice that she deserves. Wow. Looked very secluded. Justin, did you see? I did not see the picture of her with the one in Africa. No. I may have it. Oh, let me show you this. We'll look that up and
When Mica was just 14, she started attending JP's church Solid Rock at Market Common. This is where she met 28-year-old pastor JP Miller, where he started grooming her while he was married with 5 children of his own. They later married when Mica was just 23 and JP was 37. Friends have stated that JP was verbally, financially, mentally, physically, and spiritually abusive towards Mica for years, and she was also essayed by JP throughout their marriage. According to friends, if Mica would try to leave him, he would have her committed to the mental hospital. Mica openly spoke of her trials and tribulations through a video diary she shared on Facebook. JP would also discuss Mica's mental health battles in his sermons, but he failed to mention that he was the one that had caused them. JP would allegedly make Mica watch him engage in intimate situations with other women in front of her. He would slash tires, stalk her, put tracking devices in
this
her
guy's a
vehicle.
creep.
You name it, the list goes on.
I know my camera's on.
Allegedly, Mica had escaped
I don't
JP
care
in
right now.
February of this year, and friends were hiding her. She found out that JP was doing things with the church's money, and he put her back into the mental hospital.
He makes
When
me
Mica
so
got out,
angry.
she told her friend, "I am not mentally ill. I am not sick. I don't want to harm myself.
There it
and
is,
he is
Miss
going to make
Kirby.
it look like I took my own life. He's going to try to frame me
Yeah,
one
babe.
day. I know he is going to do it. Angela, Micah's friend and former churchgoer to Solid Rock, said, I talked to her multiple times in her
Same
final
mood,
week here
Grace.
on
Yeah.
Earth. She was making plans to get her hair cut, getting help with her car payment because she was a little short after paying her divorce lawyer, and planning to meet us for the second service at church on Sunday. My final text with her on Friday at 9:19 p.m. was a
usually
woman
am.
making plans to live. What happened between Friday night and Saturday? I was so
YouTube doesn't like you
overwhelmed
vaping.
seeing two
That's why I
certain
normally
people on
turn
the
it off.
news last night trying to minimize Mica by painting her mentally ill and crying like they were currently present in her life. They were not. She wasn't having a mental meltdown when the scales were lifted from her eyes and she walked away. She was a warrior wearing the full armor of God. We will go into what was said by JP's alleged mistress next.
Okay. He infuriates me. What is up with these misogynist men? Just crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. What else do I need to show? I want to find more about like the crime. What is this? Okay, I'll look at that in a second. The person who was discussing the 911 call stated that there was evidence that she was not with anyone when she called, but how could they know she wasn't with anyone if it was a phone call? Exactly. So if JP divorced his first wife in 2015, he's been with Mica for 15 years. Do the math. Yes. Look at this. I'll tell you who could or maybe could have stopped this from happening to this godly, beautiful young lady. Now I'm having to live with regret, or at least going in and checking on her to see if anyone else was involved. Let me explain, because it's killing me, people. I was in my boat fishing and I went up into a lake off the river. When I got back to the lake, I heard a faint crying, not loud. You're wondering, could I see anyone? I couldn't because trees were blocking my view, but I really feel now that she could see me. Oh my God. So I just kept fishing. Then maybe 2 minutes later, I heard a pew pew shot. I said, "Oh my God, no, Lord, don't let it be." So there was just enough water going through the woods to where I could float my boat through. So I was looking, I saw a little tote pack and cell phone and glasses were out of the bag. So I picked up her belongings, walked around to see if I could see anything. I didn't, and got real nervous. Put belongings in the boat, went to landing, load my boat up. As I was leaving, I saw that the law was there, told them what happened. That's when I found out what happened. I have reached out to the family and they are getting done so wrong. I just can't believe it. But people, this is so sad and wrong. I'm not condemning anyone, but I will say this: God knows all. More investigating. I think I wonder if he did he she was supposed to be going to work. That's the thing. She had her uniform on. I guess her belongings were outside of the car. I wonder if did someone help her? Yes, ATS. It's bizarre. It's very bizarre. Did someone help or not help her, help him? I mean, unless I don't think she would drive. She was, first of all, this is way out of the way. It's weird. Why would someone take her stuff? That is weird. I agree. But did someone, she would not go to North Carolina. She was on her way to work. So the only thing I can think of is someone helped him. Me too. See something, say something. I think there has to be more than one involved. He goes in the woods, took those items after hearing shot. I mean, he probably didn't think she was dead at that point, even though he's like, oh God, no, because he went and looked and he didn't see nothing. Okay. If you order some of those purple. Okay. One second. Loved ones grieve. Yeah. Wow. Okay, guys. He was probably scared too. Gunshots. What year was her car? Does she ever? I don't know what year her car was, but I feel like he had to have help. There's no way in hell, no way in hell that she would go to a different state when she just served his ass divorce papers 48 hours prior. She knows he is allegedly abusive. Jackie, thank you so much for becoming a new member. Welcome, my friend. Thank you for your support. Well, welcome, Jackie, please. Thank you, sweetheart. I never go. Yes. Very weird. Okay, guys. I have to go do some stuff, so I will be back later this evening. What time is my live? We'll be doing a live at 4 p.m. Eastern. 4 p.m. Eastern. Don't miss it. We're going to be talking about Sebastian Rogers, and we're going to be doing some measurements and all of that with where I was yesterday and going over some stuff. Spirit Seeker, if you want to join me later, you're welcome to join me later as well. It's up to you. No pressure. We just wanted to ask you. So we'll be covering this, and this is gone. There's a lot of stuff already out on this. I've got a ton more to show you guys, and we will be talking about it. Do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button if you haven't yet already. And if you haven't subscribed, consider subscribing. I like long-term relationships. I'm sure you do too. So please hit the thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell so you won't miss anything. Love you all. Thank you for everything. Justice for beautiful Mica Miller. See you guys soon. Bye-bye.